Have you ever wondered what it is like to find a SaaS startup today? How do people come up with a business idea? What are the challenges and obstacles? How is it done? We have been interviewing over 30 startups over the year 2022 to ask them about the history of their company. Now it's our time. Here is the story of BotTalk's beginnings, told by our CEO, Andrey. First of all, what is BotTalk? BotTalk dubs the articles of newspaper publishers with an AI voice, which is made available to readers or listeners with the help of a web player. Thereby we create a new distribution channel for the already existing content. Our goal is to give readers a way to consume news and quality journalism comfortably while doing other activities. Stay tuned for a deep dive into the startup world. BotTalk Podcast.
Before founding BotTalk, I was working at one of the sister companies of Axel Springer as a head of prototyping and mobile development there. And I was there for like 6.5 years. And that was a great demanding job, and I liked it very much and stuff like that. But 6.5 years, it just take some kind of toll. And you really need to kind of get out there and try stuff out. Before Axel Springer, I originally studied like German literature and linguistics. But always worked at IT companies. So I had this problem during interviews. You studied linguistics. Why do you want to be a programmer with us? And I was like always trying to come up with a nice explanation about but it does count. And I not only studied this at the university, but I actually have a PhD in linguistics. That was nice. And then Alexa came to the market. All these smart assistants. And that was like my time to shine. I thought, okay, great. This is a great opportunity to connect the tech and my language skills, and that will be perfect, actually. And that's how BotTalk originally was born. The original BotTalk that we founded with my co-founder back, I think 2018, 17, something like that, was based on the simple idea. Okay, we're going to basically create an editor, a text editor for other developers to create small voice applications for those smart assistants. So we create an editor, they create their apps, and we profit from all the money. So it's a crazy idea. When it's a gold rush, you actually need to don't go to and dig the gold yourself, but you actually need to sell shovels. That's how you become popular. We tried to do that, and that was a popular product. Actually, we won some kind of awards. We became product of the day on Product Hunt. It was perfect. The problem was nobody was using Alexas. So we were like, lots of developers trying to build apps for something that nobody used. It's like a classical software development or software people problem. Like, we are building something because we can, and not because somebody needs it. So the classical demand and supply problem. And when I realized it, it was like back in, I think, 2018, I looked at the numbers and, a huge year, all this success, product of the day, but nobody was using those apps that people were building. And that's when we applied for Next Media Accelerator here in Hamburg, and to actually came to them and say, okay, we have this, software that we built, but we have no idea how to kind of run a company and how to run a startup, and we really need help with that. And that's where BotTalk number 2 or the BotTalk that people now know came to be. It was a complete accident. So we were still pitching this stupid platform for building apps for everyone who would listen. Like, there was people from different publishing companies in the audience, and this is a platform that your programmers can use inside of your publishing house, and you can produce this huge interactive voice application where people can ask what has happened, what is the news in Hamburg, and you get individualized news, like 3 news about sports and like 2 news about environment, that is very personalized in the interactive voice, and it's a huge story. And then maybe everyone was asking, but I remember particularly one day when one of the questions from the audience was like, can you tell us how many people in Germany have Alexa at home? And no, I don't have these numbers. I was looking, but Amazon is not giving those numbers, and Google is not telling those numbers. And how of those are, active users? And I don't know. Why? Stupid question. To the next question. And then I sat down this evening on my way. I was living in Cologne back then. It was 4 hours ride from Hamburg to Cologne. I was sat down this question just didn't let me go. Why would he ask this question? And then I sat down and tried to analyze it with a pen and paper. And I thought, okay, so many people have Alexas, and how many of those actually are readers of this particular newspaper, and so on. And then I realized, wow, that's a funnel question. So the biggest problem with a funnel is in every step of the funnel, there's the percentage of those who go through the funnel decreases. So what we're asking our customers to do is everyone that goes into the website, we ask them to say, yeah, and of those of you that went to your website, maybe 10% of them have Alexas, and those are the customers that will hear this and interact with this huge, great product of yours. And that's why I realized, why are we doing that? They need to address 100% of the audience. They have no interest in losing 90%. And that's when it came to me, we don't need any interaction. We just need to read out loud every article on every damn web page of this website. And this is that was the idea. And then my backstory. I spent I don't know 6 hours, my waking hours, consuming news content. And primary sources now and back then was podcasts, YouTube videos of those bloggers and so on about political news. That's what I'm I'm a completely news junkie. And I realized, why am I using YouTube all the time? Well, because it's the only thing that I can use to listen while I'm doing something else. Because in my lifestyle, I cannot afford to sit down and read for 6 hours of this news content that is flowing. But I can definitely manage to listen to it in the background. And then I tried all kinds of screen readers. I tried Siri, it was sounding awful. I tried free ones, it was sounding awful, to select the text and read out loud. And that's where I realized, well, that would be great just for me, just to have this kind of feature that I can just listen to any articles out there in the web. And that was how actually the idea of BotTalk was born. It was a coincidence, personal need, and the question from the audience, about the funnel.
Mm-hmm. Pretty interesting. So, normally, the most of the founders always came to the idea, hey, I would like to start a startup. It's always, okay, I have a problem and I want to fix it. So you also describe your whole journey and ups and downs through BotTalk. And first you also have the first idea of BotTalk, you had the idea, you had the problem, but then I think the main fault every startup always does first, they're producing the product, but never have an eye on the market and on the customers. So that's why lots of startups are failing. So you just run in because you think, this is a pretty nice idea, and I need it, and I think this is the best idea in the world. And then you came to the point, okay, shit, no, there's no market, no one is gonna spending money. But I think it's like pretty cool that you're getting this point and see, okay, now I need to change something. So lots of them are never like getting to this point and think, yeah, I need to change it because they are just like convinced about their idea. So it's pretty cool that you say, okay, I'm going to another view of my problem and see, hey, there's a problem with this, but I need to fix it on another way. And this is like really, really good, I think. So that was the change that BotTalk, the new one, is born, I would say. When you started like with your first product, so how did you do it? Like, did you build an MVP, or how was your process? So you can't build like the perfect product and say, here it is. I mean, this normally it's not possible because you have lots of learnings and iterations always inside.
Yeah. Well, that's where I think any accelerator program built, especially the Next Media that we were part of, helped us a lot. Is that they give us direct access to the potential customers. So those publishing houses that became afterwards our clients, and that's where we got the most of the feedback from. So even before building like an MVP, we talked with them, with this second idea and said, okay, forget the Alexa, sorry about this, but would you be interested in this play button inside of your articles? And then we went on questioning a couple of them and saying, okay, yeah, but what is your process of publishing those kind of things? Is there like CMS that you are publishing it? Yeah, there is. Do you have like API? No, most of them do not have API. Okay, do we have like RSS feed? Some kind of a source where we can get the information from? What is your primal interest in your kind of business model? Are you trying to make money with advertising on your website? Are you trying to make money with additional subscribers and so on and so forth? So we needed to understand their business first to kind of offer something in return. And then I think my co-founder back then went to a vacation to take a break, and then when he came back from his vacation, we sat down on a Sunday and plotted the whole interface in one go. We used I think the method of the creators of Ruby on Rails to kind of plot the whole interface. What is the first thing that our customer will see? Okay, that's a landing page. Okay, this is the registration mask. Okay, perfect. What happens when he clicks on the register? What is the next action? Okay, he sees this dashboard. Perfect. What is the next button? He clicks. Okay, create a project. Okay, what is the next? Okay, select a title. Yeah, perfect. What is the next? Select a language. Select the voice. Listen to this voice. What is the next? And just iterate it on the whiteboard. It was I have this I think 3 photos of the whiteboard filled with those sketches that we came up with on the Sunday. So, and after that it was okay, that is minimal thing that we need to build, and let's just build it. And then my tech co-founder sat down and jotted down everything that needed to be done in order for us to show it to the customers. So I think we took of course we took existing libraries for interface, because we had no interest in creating or hiring any designer and so on and so forth. And it was pretty, I think, straightforward in the beginning, because we were starting completely fresh. And that was actually, it's always a huge benefit for a tech person to start completely fresh. So I think the first prototype that we built was not longer than 4 weeks, stuff like that. So in 4 weeks we had this one prototype that we could show and say, okay, this is where you put your articles in, they go there automatically and stuff like that. And then it was in between the roadshows of the accelerator program. So we just came back from one roadshow, or just from the beginning of accelerator, and we needed to complete this this prototype before the second roadshow in order to show them something on the roadshow. And that's what we did. So basically we came to the accelerator with a completely different product, redid the product in 4 weeks, and came out strong, till the time that we hit the road, and showed it to the most important publishing houses here in Germany. And and one of them even decided to go, okay, let's do the testing, and that's where it became real, because it was like prototype, and then the real live customer with the real people was testing that, and real people were listening to the audio articles that we created. It was, pretty excited.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, how was the feedback from your first, or from the community, or your first customers when you present your MVP? Because was it more positive or more negative? Because I can imagine that the process from your first MVP to our final product now, this is a completely different changes, that is now different looking.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the hugest problem that we also have now, but not at the extent at the moment, because I think everyone has grasped that people need this audio version. But back then it was still a very novel idea. It's not like I always compared with a Coca-Cola example. It's not like you are coming up with the idea of we're doing like Coca-Cola, but from natural ingredients. Here in Hamburg, and it's made in Hamburg. Yeah, perfect. And that's it's a pretty straightforward, and that's why we're charging premium. That's pretty. Everyone knows what Coca-Cola is, but that's a German-made one with the natural ingredients. Okay. But that's a product that is very easy to sell. The original product, so this is the better one. With us, it was like, the original one, the written text, and now you can hear it. But it's something that nobody had any comparison with. So so my pitch was always like, the demand for audio is bigger than the supply. People are eager to listen to audio. Look at the podcasts, how the podcasts are booming, and this is the indication that people want audio. So, and everyone in the publishing world was, we'll produce a podcast then. And back then everyone was fresh. Nobody had any idea how much effort it is to produce a podcast. So everyone, we'll then produce a podcast once a day, and they'll be okay. So it was pretty, to convince them that their users will be using that. This was like the hugest barrier. I remember sitting back with one of our customers back in Berlin, and we're talking with a head of their customer success team, whatever, and he was asking me those questions like, how many people will listen, how many people will click, what will be the reader to listener ratio, how many free users will listen, how many paid users will listen, and so on. As you understand right now, those are like the founding things of our analytics. Those are things that I was writing down. And on my way back to Hamburg, I was just, writing back to my co-founder, we need to add those kind of analytics, because we had zero analytics in the beginning. And, those analytics are stronger than ever today. Those are exactly the things that every publisher needs to know. What is the amount of daily active users on the platform, on this player, and so on and so forth. So to convince them first, okay, this is something that your users want, was the challenge. And that's why this testing, test period was needed, because we needed to generate some kind of data in order for them to see, okay, this is something that is useful. And when we got the first test going, that was amazing for us to see how much audio is in demand. When we saw the numbers of about 10% of readers listen to this, click on this listen button, we were blown away. Like, it was really, really complicated.
Yes, I think it's like pretty hard to, when you have like a super innovative product which nobody ever seen before and knows, that to tell them like, here, this is like the new perfect thing in the future. So also with your example with the Coca-Cola, this is, I think it's like super good understandable then, because nobody knows before like a web player. Oh, okay, now I can hear an article. I just need to click play, and then with this as an example, it's good to understand like in which point you were struggling with, and yeah, I think we get like lots of cool insights and where you're going through your ups and downs, and thank you for taking us with you on this journey and giving some insights, and we hope you also liked it, and if you have any other questions, feel free to ask. We're looking forward for it.
Yeah, thank you very much for these interesting questions and just the possibility to go back and like relive that whole experience. Sometimes you just forget how much had happened in the past. So thank you once again for taking me back to this journey. And subscribe, like on YouTube, leave a comment and whatever on iTunes. That helps us a lot also to stay motivated to do those podcasts. And we hope that we could ask also a couple of your questions when you send us questions about like how to start a company, or about maybe your ideas or whatever it is, whatever interests you as a reader, listener, viewer, whatever. Yeah, and see you next week.